Top 10 Most Embarrassing Moment in MMA. You are going to see some pretty cringe-worthy stuff, but get ready for a real doozy at number 1. Kicking off our list at number 10, we have Rousimer Palhares' premature celebration. So picture this, Palhares is in the middle of a heated battle with Dan Miller. He lands a powerful kick, takes Miller down, and starts some ground and pound action. Things are looking good, right? Well, that's when the hilarity kicks in. Instead of focusing on the fight and finishing what he started, Palhares decides it's time to celebrate prematurely. He climbs on top of the octagon cage, arms in the air, and starts soaking in the glory. The only problem? The fight's not over. Referee Herb Dean never stopped the fight, and Miller isn't done just yet. What happens next is pure comedy. Palhares almost gets knocked out right after his premature celebration. Talk about a lack of composure. Palhares manages to recover from his embarrassing moment and eventually wins the fight. So, this cringe-worthy moment lands at number 10. Welcome to number 9 on our list of MMA embarrassments. Chuck Liddell gets knocked out by medicine. Now, you might think fighters have it all under control, but the truth is, the life of a championship fighter can get pretty crazy. Between intense training sessions, maintaining friendships, and dealing with the media, it can be a real drain. Chuck the Iceman Liddell found this out the hard way during a Good Morning Texas interview back in 2007. Chuck was on the show to promote the movie 300, but little did he know, he was about to face an opponent more challenging than any he'd met in the octagon: illness. Poor Chuck was battling pneumonia, and to soldier on, he decided to take a sleeping pill. The result? Well, it was a bit of a train wreck. Chuck was clearly not in any shape to give an interview. His responses were slurred, he stumbled through his words, and he looked like he was on the verge of falling asleep right there on live TV. The host, understandably, was extremely concerned about the health of the champ. Now, in the end, everything turned out fine for Chuck. He recovered from his illness and continued his successful career in MMA. But that moment on Good Morning Texas was undeniably embarrassing for him. Welcome to number 8 on our list of embarrassing MMA moments: Nevada State Athletic Commission vs. ICE. Now, we all know that inside the UFC octagon, fighters are tough as nails. But there's one opponent even they struggle to defeat, and that's the solid form of dihydrogen monoxide, or as we all know it, ICE. Our story takes us back to UFC 109, right in the middle of the fight between Melvin Gillard and Ronis Torres. The action was heating up, and the fighters were going at it with everything they had. But then, out of nowhere, a bag of ice decided to burst open, and its contents spilled out all over the octagon floor. You might be wondering, why is ice even there? Well, sometimes fighters use ice packs to cool down between rounds, but this bag had other plans. It took center stage and turned the octagon into a slippery, chaotic mess. Now, you'd think the Nevada State Athletic Commission, responsible for overseeing the event, would jump into action and swiftly deal with the icy intruder. But nope, they struggled to clean it up, and the ice seemed to have them on the ropes. It's a bit ironic, isn't it? These are the same folks who are supposed to enforce strict rules and regulations in the sport, but when it came to something as simple as cleaning up ice, they found themselves in a bit of a bind. We've got number 7 on our list. David Gardner says hello. Now, let me set the stage for you. Picture this: Shinya Aoki, a submission wizard, a master on the mat, and an absolute nightmare for anyone who steps into the cage with him. Aoki is the kind of guy who can make even the toughest fighters tap out in a matter of seconds. Our unfortunate star of this moment is David Gardner. He found himself facing the mighty Aoki at Dream 9, and he knew he was in for a rough ride. Aoki's reputation was no joke, especially on the ground. But here's where it gets embarrassing. As Gardner found himself in a precarious position with Aoki on his back, instead of trying to escape or defend himself, he decided to do something unexpected. He waved and screamed to the crowd, "Hello Japan." Yes, you heard that right. Now, you might be thinking, hey, maybe he was just trying to lighten the mood or be funny. Well, bad timing, Gardner. Literally, immediately after his cheerful greeting, Aoki locked in a vice-grip rear naked choke, and Gardner had no choice but to tap out. Number 6 on our list: fighters crapping themselves. So, picture this, it's UFC Fight Night 35, and Yoel Romero is in the octagon facing off against Derek Brunson. The fight is intense, the crowd is roaring, and then, out of nowhere, viewers at home start noticing something rather unusual. There's a particular brown spot on Romero's otherwise purple shorts. Yep, you guessed it, it wasn't water. The Soldier of God apparently celebrated his victory with soiled shorts. Talk about an unforgettable way to mark a win. Now, Romero later claimed it was just water, but let's be real here, folks. That answer is, well, full of you-know-what, and we all know it. It's one of those moments in MMA history that you just can't unsee. We're diving into number 5 on our list: Chael Sonnen's spinning back fail fist. Now, remember the days when Chael Sonnen was hailed as the guy who was going to dethrone the legendary Anderson Silva. After nearly snatching Silva's title in their first epic showdown, Sonnen defeated the likes of Brian Stann and Michael Bisping, earning himself a second shot at the Spider. In the first round of their highly anticipated rematch, the atmosphere was electric. Sonnen, mounting Silva, seemed poised to repeat his earlier success. It was an edge-of-your-seat moment for sure. But then, in the blink of an eye, disaster struck. Sonnen, in a colossal miscalculation, decided to go for a spinning back fist. What happened next was a jaw-dropping twist of fate. Instead of landing a devastating blow, he completely wiped out and ended up on his butt. It was like something out of a comedy sketch. And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, Silva seized the opportunity, delivering a crushing knee to Sonnen's body. The gangster from West Lynn, Oregon, was left reeling, and Silva wasted no time in finishing the fight shortly thereafter. So close, yet so far for Sonnen. It was a moment that had MMA fans around the world talking, and it goes to show that in this sport, even the best laid plans can sometimes take an unexpected tumble. Coming in at number 4 on our list is the unforgettable Dennis Hallman rocks a Speedo. Now, you might be wondering how a fighter could possibly end up in such an embarrassing situation. But trust us, it happened, and it's as awkward as it sounds. Dennis Hallman found himself in this predicament after losing a bet to 2 other fighters. Losing a bet in the world of MMA can lead to some pretty outrageous consequences. In this case, the rules of the bet dictated that Hallman had to step into the octagon wearing nothing but a tiny, revealing Speedo. And folks, it was quite the sight to behold. Not only did he look absolutely ridiculous, but things went from bad to worse when he faced off against Brian Ebersol in his Speedo-clad glory. The match ended in a TKO in the first round, and Hallman's embarrassing outfit choice certainly didn't help his cause. It was a cringe-worthy moment that had MMA fans and fighters alike shaking their heads in disbelief. But get ready, because number 3 on our list is a real head-scratcher. Paul Buentello doesn't know how to self-promote. Now, in the world of MMA, some fighters have a natural talent for capturing the spotlight and get the fans fired up. But then, there's Paul Buentello, who, well, let's just say he didn't quite nail the art of self-promotion. After a knockout win over Justin Eilers at UFC 51, Buentello saw an opportunity to create a catchy catchphrase that would resonate with fans. He wanted something that would strike fear into the hearts of his opponents and make the crowd go wild. So, what did he come up with? Brace yourselves, folks, it's a real gem. Don't fear me. Fear the consequences. Yep, you heard that right. Buentello's attempt at a menacing catchphrase fell flat on its face. And if that wasn't embarrassing enough, he even asked the crowd if he had any fans. And, well, let's just say he didn't get the roaring approval he was hoping for. The silence in the arena said it all. It was an awkward and cringe-worthy moment that left fans scratching their heads and wondering if they had misheard. At number 2, Gray Maynard knocks himself out. Imagine this, you've just come off the Ultimate Fighter reality show, and you're eager to make a big impact in your official UFC debut. The last thing you want to do is make a fool of yourself, right? Well, Gray Maynard had other plans. In a fight against Rob Emerson at the TUF5 finale, Maynard was looking sharp. He stunned Emerson with a series of punches, and it seemed like he was on his way to a dominant victory. But then, things took a bizarre turn. Maynard decided it was time to finish the fight and went for a double-leg takedown. Now, that's a move he's executed countless times as an accomplished wrestler, but this time, it didn't quite go as planned. He lifted Emerson up, slammed him down with such force that it felt like he was trying to bury him through the mat, and forced Emerson to tap out due to injured ribs. Sounds like a solid victory, right? Well, not quite. Here's the embarrassing part. In the process of slamming Emerson, Maynard's own head hit the canvas, and the impact knocked him out cold. Yes, you heard that correctly. Gray Maynard knocked himself out while his opponent tapped out in pain. Talk about an unexpected twist. It was a moment that left fans in disbelief. Here was a highly skilled wrestler, a guy who should have had complete control, and yet, he ended up flat on his back, unconscious. It just goes to show that in MMA, anything can happen, even when you're as accomplished as Gray Maynard. It's time for number 1 on our list of embarrassing MMA moments. Kimbo Slice's hype goes bye-bye. Now, let's set the stage. Kimbo Slice, aka the man with the burly beard and fists of fury, was touted as the next big thing in MMA. He had this aura of invincibility, a reputation built on his street fighting videos that went viral. People thought he was going to conquer the MMA world with his heavy hands and brawling style. But here's the thing, in the world of professional MMA, it takes more than just raw power to succeed. Kimbo's ground game was, well, let's just say it needed some work. And that's where Seth Petruzzelli comes into the picture. At Elite XC Heat, Kimbo was set to face off against the aging Ken Shamrock, a UFC legend. However, Shamrock got injured, and in stepped Seth Petruzzelli, a relatively unknown fighter. Nobody gave Petruzzelli much of a chance against the feared Kimbo Slice. But guess what? MMA is the land of surprises. In a matter of seconds, Seth Petruzzelli, with a single punch, sent Kimbo Slice crashing to the canvas. It was a shocking turn of events. Kimbo, the symbol of MMA New Era, was down, and the crowd was in disbelief. Petruzzelli didn't stop there. He followed up with some ground and pound shots, and just like that, he dismantled not only Kimbo Slice but also the entire Elite XC promotion. You see, Elite XC had bet big on Kimbo, and they had put a lot of promotional muscle behind him. With his defeat, their dreams of making him a superstar went up in smoke. It was a moment that exposed the realities of MMA. Hype can only take you so far. In the cage, skill, technique, and heart matter more than anything else. And Seth Petruzzelli, on that fateful night, proved it. These moments are a reminder that in the world of MMA, anything can happen, even the most embarrassing moments. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed our countdown and subscribe for more epic MMA content from MMA WWE Insider.